I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a test question for you. You need to sketch graph of y equals to 2 cosine pi by 3x minus pi by 6 minus 1. You can copy this question, sketch on a graph paper, and then check with my solution. Whenever we are given an equation, we should always have a factored form where x coefficient should be 1. So let me rewrite this in the factored form. So we can write this as y equals to 2 cos. Now what I mean by factored form is factor pi by 3. So you're left with x minus, when you divide pi by 6 by pi by 3, you get half, right? So that is the factored form. If you open this, you'll get pi x by 3, that's correct. And if you multiply these two, you get pi by 6. So that is a good check. So at this stage, you should check also your result. Now, once you've done that, you can write down your time period, amplitude, x's, and all those things, correct? So at this stage, what we have here is that the amplitude is 2, and time period t will be 2 pi by pi over 3, or time period is 6. Phase shift is half units to the right, and the q value is 1 unit. Let me write minus 1 unit down, right? So these are the characteristics of your graph. Now when you are sketching this graph, I prefer to sketch it in 2 steps. We'll incorporate stretches, compressions, and reflections in the first step. That is to say, we'll do these parts first, right? So that is the first part. Rather, let me write equation as 2 times cos of pi by 3. So when we look into this function, we can see that the time period of x, right? Time period is 6 for us, and amplitude is 2. Cosine functions, start with maximum, so they are kind of like this. So this is the graph which we are going to sketch. So let's figure out a scale for this. So on the vertical side, let's say 2 units be 1, so we get our scale here. So let this be the scale. So we're writing 1 and minus 1 for y. Okay. As far as x is concerned, we are looking for a time period of 6 units. So 6 units, let us say we have 1, 2, 3. Let this be 1 unit. So let's say call this 1. 1, 2, 3 second unit. 1, 2, 3 third. 1, 2, 3 4. 1, 2, 3 5. 1, 2, 3 6, right? So we have these 6 units, which is the time period. Now to get 5 critical points, we need to divide this scale into 4 equal parts, right? So 4 equal parts is kind of important to divide it into. So 4 means first is half is kind of like this. So these are the guidelines, okay? So all these green lines are guidelines. So 1 part, and then in between these two, that means between 1 and 2, so it's kind of here. Do you see that? So that is your 1 more part, and then here between 3 and 6, that means 4 point over here, right? So that is 4 equal parts. Well, this is not a very good scale. I should have selected 4 units for 1, but then I was moving out of the scale, so I had no choice. Anyway, this is important, how to work with such odd numbers at time. Okay. Now let us sketch 2 cos pi by 3x. 2 cos pi by 3x, we know is a time period of 6 units and amplitude of 2. Cosine function starts with the maximum. So this is 2 for us. So we'll start with maximum. Second part will go to 0. Third part minimum, right? So this is the kind of minimum, right? 0, and then again maximum. So 1 and 1, 2. So that is the cosine function for us, correct? So we kind of join them with a smooth curve, and that is the function 2 cos pi by 3x. Do you get the idea? Now the second part of this is to translate this function half a unit to right and 1 unit down. So each point will go half unit right. So half unit right means what? 1, 2, 3 is one division. 1.5 is half unit. So we'll move 1.5 and 1 down. So that point will translate to this point. Do you understand? So here 1.5 and 1 down will bring it here. This point 1.5 and 1 down. And when I say 1.5, it is actually half unit, right? So half is 1.5 on a scale, right? So that is half unit right and 1 down. So when you bring it 1 down, you come to -3, which is your minimum point. It makes sense. So here again at 5 and 1 down, right? And then we do 1.5 and 1 down. So that becomes the final position, right? So now we can connect these points. So once you connect these points, you have a graph which is kind of like this. So this is your y equals to 2 cos pi by 3x minus pi by 6 minus 1, correct? So that is how it is going to be. And of course, you can write down what this point is. This is half for you, right? Half for you, right? Starting. And it ends at 6.5, 6.5. So that becomes domain of one cycle. As far as the range is concerned, it goes from -3 to 1, right? So that is how you can neatly sketch a graph of a cosine function given in this form. It is not an easy graph. Go through it once again. And the scale which I have taken is more complicated than it should have been. My advice to you is that when you sketch such a graph, I had taken 1, 2, 3 divisions as 1 unit. Take 4 divisions as 1 unit, since it was obvious that we are looking for a number kind of half, right? So a better choice was to use 4 divisions as 1 unit. In that case, you would have got a better graph. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.